our democracy
to democracy.
That democracy
This is what the intellectuals, media corporations, political leaders have to say about our 21st century modern democracy.
The 20th century's most successful political idea is under attack. Democracy is facing a crisis of confidence.
The quality of democracy is in decline.
A gap is growing between people and the political elites elected to represent them. Powerful interests have corrupted the ways people are governed.
It was very frustrating because people were dying.
And fledgling democracies are increasingly succumbing to the lure of autocracy.
Yani Tayyip Erdoğan güçlü bir lider. Biz de sonuna kadar arkasındayız.
But how deep is this crisis? And how worried should the world be?
Yes, democratic politics is messy. Our demands are so many and we're very noisy. Our economic performance is not particularly great, but democracy is still the best system of large-scale governance anywhere.
I'm talking about how you get beyond what we have. Because like in all societies, you are either satisfied with the way things are or you're looking for how to make them better. If there's a genius in the United States, it's been that we've been willing, in many areas, to do better. But there's a taboo when it comes to economics, represented by what Jean said, that you really shouldn't look at that because it's only going to get worse. Those nasty politicians will do all the terrible things that should make you stay with what you have. Oh yes, tinker with the Federal Reserve or here, but don't change the fundamentals. Where did that come from? Where did the economic system get a pass? We debate about family life, we debate education, we debate our transportation system, but debate the fundamental structure of capitalism, which is not about markets and not about the government, but how you organize the production and distribution of the goods and services without which you cannot live. Slavery did it with masters and slaves. Feudalism did it with lords and serfs. Capitalism does it with employers and employees. And the whole purpose of my book and the work that we do and the new directions of socialism is to question and transform that. No more group of employers telling us all what to do and employees living in that undemocratic workplace.
Here's my take. A few weeks ago, the Economist Intelligence Unit published the 10th edition of its Democracy Index. And for the second consecutive year, the United States failed to make the top bracket of full democracy and was grouped in the second one, flawed democracy.
A twisted form of democracy when you say that all of those political parties that get votes with whom you don't agree are not relevant. It's a pretty obscene definition of democracy to decry those of us that believe in national democracy and European cooperation. You call us populist, extremist, xenophobic and nationalistic. Surely, Mr. Barroso, the point about democracy is you engage in debate. You listen to what the other person has to say, you put it to the public and you accept the result. That is what real, genuine parliamentary democracy is about, and you seem to actually despise that and everything that those of us that stand for national democracy believe in. And to tell me that you're in this position because this Parliament voted for you, we were only given the chance to vote for one candidate. Is that your new model of European democracy?
I don't think that this is possible without the process. The only way that you keep people involved in a movement like this is you have a process in which everyone's voice can be heard. A consensus process.
In our movement, it's really important to have our means reflect the ends that we're trying to create. We want to have more representation in our government and in our economy. So in trying to create that, every decision has been made through our process of General Assemblies and through our process of working groups.
General Assembly is conducted in the process.
When there's a decision that is given to you from a bishop or a president, your investment in it usually relies on how much you profit from it, you know? Here, everybody works together to come to a decision.
Because it's not top down, it can take much more time, but in the end, the decision being voted on, it's so much stronger because everyone has worked out all the little kinks to come up with the best thing that everyone can support together.
And that's the beauty of direct democracy, is being able to say, okay, we need to come as a group and adjust so that everyone's on board with what's happening. Because if we leave one person out, that starts to jeopardize up the chain, leaving people out for the larger movement.
Political leaders speak about pure democracy, and democracy in general for the purpose of deceiving the people and concealing from them the capitalist character of present-day democracy.
I recognize not every country in this hall is going to follow the same model of governance. I do not think that America can or should impose our system of government on other countries. But there appears to be a growing contest between authoritarianism and liberalism right now. And I want everybody to understand, I am not neutral in that contest. I believe in a liberal political order. An order built not just through elections and representative government, but also through respect for human rights and civil society and independent judiciaries and the rule of law. I know that some countries which now recognize the power of free markets still reject the model of free societies. And perhaps those of us who have been promoting democracy feel somewhat discouraged since the end of the Cold War.
Let the capitalist class continue to keep the entire apparatus of state power in their hands. Let a handful of exploiters continue to use the former capitalist state machine. Elections held in such circumstances are lauded by the capitalist class for very good reasons as being free, equal, democratic, and universal. These words are designed to conceal the truth, to conceal the fact that the means of production, factories, land, capital, and the political power remain in the hands of the exploiters, and that therefore real freedom and real equality for the exploited, that is, for the vast majority of the population, are out of the question. It is profitable and indispensable for the capitalist class to conceal from the people the capitalist character of modern democracy, to picture it as democracy in general or pure democracy. And the political leaders, repeating this in practice, abandon the standpoint of the working class and side with the capitalist class. It is sheer mockery of the working and exploited people to speak of pure democracy, of democracy in general, of equality, freedom, and universal rights when the workers and all working people are ill-fed, ill-clad, ruined, and worn out, not only as a result of capitalist wage slavery, but as a consequence of 5 years of predatory war in the name of elections.
And now, bubbling at the surface is the long-ignored cousin of addiction and homelessness, disease.
We have not seen conditions for humans like this since medieval times. Period. And that's a fact. But if you...
This is Mumbai, the wealthiest city in India, which has the highest number of millionaires and billionaires in the country. However, Mumbai is also home to Dharavi, one of the largest slums in Asia and one of the most densely populated areas in the world. Despite the fact that around 1 million people are estimated to be living in Dharavi, not many people know about what's actually happening inside the slums.
Hello.
इसको किसने बोला?
Where they sleep? Where do they sleep?
आप कहाँ सोते हैं? वो ऊपर सोते हैं.
Oh, in my head.
कितने लोग यहाँ सो जाते हैं? 3 बच्चे सोते हैं और बड़े 2 जन. ऐसे ही सोते हो कि कुछ ऐसे ही सुंदर सोता है? इधर 2 जन सोते हैं, इधर 3 जन. ओके. लीकेज आप कैसे संभालते हो? लीक होता है पानी से? वो रखते वाटी रखते हैं, रात भर सोते नहीं.
How much do they earn per day?
ऐसा कितना भी करेंगे तो पगार ही देते, ऐसा कुछ नहीं.
She says how much ever she works, she will get a fixed income anyway, which is like say 6,000 rupees per month. Yeah, so it's somebody else's business. She just does it.
While the capitalists and profiteers remain in possession of the property usurped by them and the ready-made apparatus of state power, you must take advantage of capitalist democracy, which, compared with feudalism, represents a great historical advance. But not for 1 minute must you forget the capitalist character of this democracy, its historical, conditional, and limited character. Never share the superstitious belief in the state, and never forget that the state, even in the most democratic republic, and not only in a monarchy, is simply a machine for the suppression of one class by another. The capitalists are compelled to be hypocritical and to describe as popular government, democracy in general, or pure democracy, the capitalist republic, which is in practice the dictatorship of the capitalists, the dictatorship of the exploiters over the working people. The democratic republic, the constituent assembly, general elections, etc., are in practice the dictatorship of the capitalists. For the emancipation of labor from the yoke of capital, there is no other way but to replace this dictatorship with the dictatorship of the working class. The dictatorship of the working class alone can emancipate humanity from the oppression of capital, from the lies, falsehood, and hypocrisy of capitalist democracy, democracy for the rich, and establish democracy for the poor. That is, make the blessings of democracy really accessible to the workers and poor peasants. Whereas now, even in the most democratic capitalist republic, the blessings of democracy are, in fact, inaccessible to the vast majority of the working people.